Let's look at the rosters, and our roster today is Julian Proleiko, Ken Jones, Isaiah Gadson, and Nathaniel Fast. And our opponents have approximately equal average rating, but they have decided to bring 3 high-rated players and 1 seriously lower-rated, but 1960 only, so it is always a question what is better, to have like 1 high-rated. I've seen even some Grandmasters here, in other teams, like a Grandmaster and 3 amateurs, or 3 strong masters and 1 amateur. That's a big question always. What is the best?
Yeah, I've seen some of those teams that were off balance, but I didn't know about the Grandmasters playing.
Yeah, I've seen 1 Grandmaster. I don't remember in which team it was, and he was just lonely there. They were usually losing 1-3 in every match. All right, looking at a game of Jonesy Wells versus somebody called Shubin Dani, which is Daniel Shubin, by the way. Daniel Shubin, somewhere from post-Soviet country's origin, looking from beginning of the game. That was Sicilian. Let's see, what kind of line is that? This not dragon yet, and never becomes a dragon. So early G6 was telling us that it's supposed to be a dragon, but then Ken just turned to something entirely different. Last move D5, which is challenging, because right now he's starting to fight for center, and what we need to first check is what is going on if we start to take things just straightforward. If E takes D, E takes D. Yeah, so we have 3 defenses, 3 attacks on D5, and now Dani Shubin is thinking, should he take it or not? It looks like D5 is a reasonable move. Bringing tension to the center and fighting for initiative immediately. If White will take on C6, Knight takes on C6, then it will totally justify Black's structure. So yeah, so E takes D. And now there's a big question, which brings us to isolated pawn. There are some players who don't like to play with isolated pawns. There are players who like to play with isolated pawn. Number of second category is way much lower. But I can see that Ken knows what to do when he has isolated pawn. No need to think about it too much. You need to use your active pieces. It's not only isolated, it's well blocked, by the way. Knight on D4, pawn on C3. This pawn is going to nowhere. So instead of thinking of pushing it somewhere forward, Ken should probably think of what he is doing, actually. Knight goes to C4. And then active play with the knights and bishops. That's what it should be. Bishop on G7 is placed well, but doing approximately nothing. But knight on C4 should be a piece which justifies everything. All right, let me take a look at other games, because here we are in the beginning of strategical battle in a mid-game. Second game supposed to be, whom do we have? Let's look at our hero, let's say Isaiah Gadson, who is playing very, very well in all these tournaments. Not yet, so far as I see. I don't see any game in process on his nickname, so probably let's take a look.
I'm on Nathaniel Fast has his game started.
Okay, Nathaniel Fast, Saf Sebastian. Let me check. Sebastian, he has 1 game, which he's playing with a FIDE master. And this is sort of reverse to what we just have seen. This is English opening, whereas I don't have much experience playing for white. And black is playing also not the way I usually play versus English. But it still can easily turn into Queen's Gambit declined if sooner or later white will play d4, which is probably not a bad idea. There's a question not to play d4 right now, because bishop b4 check looks pretty much annoying to my perspective. I would rather play something like bishop e2 castle than d4 for white. But who knows? I would say this is a modest opening for white, pretty much humble opening. You're not really trying to get your advantage, thinking of future, just developing your pieces and preparing for possibilities. Oh, knight c3, yeah. Knight c3, once again. Our question is, when exactly are we going to play d4? Probably never. Or as long as we can not to play d4. There's also a possibility, as I understand, to play a3 as prophylactic opportunity. That's what I said. Nathaniel was playing bishop e2, preparing for castle, and d4 will be after that, and then we'll have something usual. On another side, black now is prepared to play e5 and turn this opening not to Queen's Gambit anymore. Well, this move is... Move h6 is telling us that black probably is waiting for a castle and not going to castle kingside at all, because this is the only one explanation I may come with. Bishop d6, g5, g4, h5, h4, g3, g3, and gg. There was a too early castle, and FIDE Master is thinking that it is time to win with a straight attack. Queen c7 and queenside castle. That's what I think he is doing. He's thinking of.
It looks like all the games are started now.
All right, so here we have, let me see it. I still don't see any game from Isaiah. Oh yeah, he is playing one. All right, let's turn to Isaiah just to look at the opening. Oh, his opponent has 5 minutes on the clock. And on the other side, his opponent has rating of 2600 on the chess. I don't know what does it mean and how did he get it, because it looks scary. Nah. Thunder 04, it is Kyle Haining.
I think his USCF is 2288.
Yeah, I don't play very often on chess. I'm playing much more on chess.com, and that's a big question to me. I heard that ratings here are definitely farther from reality than even on chess.com. And also there's a question. Yeah, black is also preparing e5 here. This is the way to play versus London, because Isaiah is playing London system. And this is very interesting, because I'm going to study from Mr. Kyle Haining, because I'm playing different line, and what I see I like already more. I like much more than what I'm getting usually versus London. Bishop on g7 and preparation keeping c5. No exchanges and preparing e5 to shoot, to fight for a center, and then just white spent all this time to absolutely nothing. That's a question. e5 right now still. And white is playing as if white is black. Given all the opening advantage, all initiative and everything is out. All right, let's look at the fourth game, which is game by Julian. And that's what I'm really interested in. First player is playing with it. Fourth player Oh, it's very interesting. Julian has another nick, especially for blind chess. Oh, very interesting. Let me look at from the opening. I'm looking at the Julian's game. There was Caro-Kann, one of the main lines. What has happened to queens? Wow, Queen A5. So what has happened? Position is very equal, and I would say even very, very equal. It's very nice when you want to equalize versus stronger opponent, but is it nice if you want to beat a board number 4? Get such an equal position right from the opening. And I don't like what Julian does. At least, like, if he really wants to win here, it is very hard to lose with white. There's a question what white exactly should do, like how much wrong they should be in next 10-15 moves that they will be able to get into trouble. Because right now I have no idea how exactly white is going to get into trouble in this line. By the way, Julian also has almost 2600 on lichess, which has given us hint that probably 2600 on lichess is absolutely not the same as 2600 on chess.com. Now, I would rather say this is equal endgame with a little advantage from white. So I hope Julian is thinking of winning here, but I have no idea how exactly. Well, that last move is interesting. It's given us hint that if this pawn goes to a5 and further to a6, we can catch it with interesting way. I like an idea of rook d4 now. Oh, king c7. Logical indeed. It's much easier to play with white. White just should push pawns forward to the king, try to open it, and bishop on g2 is looking in a very right direction. That's why I never liked Caro-Kann for black. All right. Let me look at other games just one by one and tell you, is there something seriously interesting happening? We have no opening disasters. Everybody just developed all their pieces and everything looks fine. And now, if you'll take a look at the Isaiah's game, right now there was a very important move from black. Our Thunder 04 has only less than 3 minutes now. When you're playing moves like c4, it is a very challenging move to yourself, because right now your pawn on d5 is getting weak forever. And I don't know how exactly... What was the reason to play c4? Was there any reason to play c4? So now it's quite easy to play with white. Just play rook d1 and bring them all to the pawn. Wait, why do they play blitz? Wait, Isaiah is playing 5+2. That's something very strange. It's not 15+2, it's 5+2 on his clock. But he has 12 minutes. That's something...
Oh, I see that, yeah. I don't know
something what I cannot explain. How is it possible that he has 5+2 and it is casual? No, that's a logical move. He's trying to occupy d3 square. But what you can do against it, you can exchange maybe 1-2 pieces. Yeah, that's very right decision. And now rook comes to d4, second rook comes to d1, and we are just bringing everybody there. Just all you have, bring on d4. It's even better than to play versus isolated pawn. Because right now, there's only one bishop. And maybe black is playing for queen g5. That will be interesting. Queen g5 is meeting f4. You're just losing immediately. No, sorry. Not so fast. Let's stay with this game. I have feeling that it's going to finish soon. So rook d2 maybe. Second rook, bishop on f3, and everybody's there. Something. Right. Meanwhile, we have endgame for Ken Wales, and he has got very unusual number of pieces. He got rook, bishop, and knight for queen. For queen and 3 pawns. So there is a little material advantage on white side. But Daniel Shubin has only 4 minutes on clock, less than 4 minutes, and very strange position. This is something what you would really like to study alone after the game, because right now you can play in any different way. 2 bishops, knight, 2 rooks, all the way to play it. What's an interesting... The most important decision in this game for Ken versus Danny Shubin is what to leave on the board and what to exchange. Danny Shubin decided that one pair of rook should be gone. And I'm not sure that he is right. I would rather choose to play it with everything you have. On another side, it may be helping. Yeah, and something like bishop e6 now. That will be nice. Yes, very nice. Now rook is coming to d8 and just totally occupying the only one open file. So there's a big question to me. What was that all about? And the biggest question also what to do with the knight. By the way, he's giving up pawn. But for a reason. Because like if we play b takes a4, queen takes a4, rook takes b2, we're losing game almost immediately, because queen a8 check, bishop f8, bishop c5, game is over. So needs to be careful. Needs to be careful as much as you can. All right, returning to Isaiah. Okay. Isaiah has time to think. Julian got rook endgame. And rook endgame, not only simple rook game endgame, somehow it happened that he got very good center. All these exchanges were in his favor. Now we have rook endgame, where the only thing he needs to do is just to put his pawn on f5, march with king to g6, release second rook. And then... Yeah, very logical. The only one thing you need to be careful about g4, as it looks like a move to me. Ken made a very right choice from my perspective. b4, so trying to stop those pawns as fast as you can and make pawn on b2 very weak. Knight is controlling d8 square, so queen cannot enter 8th file immediately. And now there's a big question what to do, because to try to go forward with a5, a6, and so on, you're losing pawn there, and maybe this is an option. Like let's say a5, b takes c3, a6 is a bad idea. So b takes c3. And at this moment, you cannot take with the bishop because pawn will be already on a7. So you need to play rook a8 in this moment, not letting it to go to a6. And pawn on c3 is staying weak, and everything is staying weak. And I like Ken's position. That's great. It will be very hard to win no matter what, because even if you will imagine that black is going to win all pawns of queen side, even then, there's a big question: how do you want to crash through all of this? Even 3 pieces versus queen is not very simple task. Games are going to the end. Oh, yo, yo. And here I dislike what Julian did. Julian decided to make an exchange, and now he has 3 weak pawns. If you have watched World Cup right now, there was a game, I think Jumabayev-Shankland, where Rinat Jumabayev from Kazakhstan also has got 3 separated pawns. It was not a rook endgame, but pawns were very similar to these 3. And till the end of the game, he was trying to protect them, and it still didn't happen. So you have to keep them all. What to do now? Back to e5. King f3 probably. Yeah. Julian has a very long endgame to play. Let's take a look at others. Oh, Isaiah made many, many moves. There are no more weak pawns on the board. His opponent has only 45 seconds, but position is... Oh, wait, he has lost the bishop. So Isaiah is totally losing. How did it happen? If you will... Adam, if you can show game of Isaiah somewhere in the move number 20. Yeah, after b5, a4, was it g4, bishop e6, and he played rook c1. He's going to lose one of the pawns. And he, oh, yeah. d4 and then d3. And looks like this game we cannot save anymore. Even with 40 seconds, this game is unbearable. Yeah, so Isaiah has lost. Let's look at something more positive. And I'm not sure that Julian's position is more positive, because 3 separated pawns are 3 separated pawns. You have to keep them alive somehow. And it is very, very hard to lose with white here. All right, the biggest wish here is Ken Jones. Let's look at this. 5 minutes versus 1. And now a question about this pawn. That's what I meant before. You should not let this pawn go to a6. No matter how. This pawn should not be there. Otherwise, you'll be in a serious, serious trouble. So I think that if nothing... I just said that bishop c4 is a must move. And she just didn't make it. Now it will be much worse. Way much worse. I would say even that move rook b8 is absolutely necessary now. Oh, Yeah, the idea was to hold point a8 pawn. What, bishop e4 now, maybe? Yes, that's better. That's better. The only one problem, there's a queen d7 right now. And after queen d7, it is... Oh, wait a second. No, there's no checkmate. So sad. Yeah, this is approximately equal to queen d7. Rook a2, check, and then bishop c5, and that's it. From nowhere, got tons of troubles. Yeah, you see, this is a trouble which I wanted to avoid by putting rook on b8 as early as it's possible. Is there any way to save this game now? Like 2 moves ago, I would say that Ken is winning, or at least, and the pawn was too dangerous. It's 4 minutes. I don't know what he's going to do. But Julian, look at this rook. This is just bravo. I have no idea how this rook came from h8 so far. Let me take a look. Oh, beautiful. h5. What? Who could say that a6 was such a big mistake? Move number 38 in Julian's game. a6. And this pawn just came to its just death point immediately. b5, h5, sorry, rook h6, and take this pawn. Now it's totally different story. That's really nice, because if king goes to f3, or king doesn't go to f3. And now rook control in second rank. This is totally different story. Ken is thinking, and he cannot find anything to save him. And I also don't know what to suggest here. Rook b5. No, this is not a good move at all. Yeah, this is the way just to lose immediately, because queen c8 and bishop c5, and you cannot do anything against it. Nah, Ken had to try rook b5 and just give it up. Another exchange, and this one is over. It's totally over. With 40 seconds on the clock for his opponent only.
Well, it looks like Nathaniel lost on board 4.
No, we are going to lose right now on board 2 as well. And on board 4, oh yes. That looks like a big checkmate. And very early. Let's look at this right after it will be finished in our recent game. Yeah. Ken just cannot keep all his pieces. Yeah, he resigned right now. It's 3-0. All right, let's believe in Julian. And still I have no idea how he's going to win it. And this is draw. So in the first round, Team Missouri got half a point, and we had much more. According to our positions, I don't know what has happened exactly. Let's look at other games. Let's look at the game of Nathaniel. Let me check from beginning if you are going to show it to everybody. So e3.
Nathaniel fast game?
Yeah, I'm Nathaniel fast game, and I'm on move 11 and starting from here. So this black castle, and then e4. Oy, oy, oy. e4 is a very, very interesting. After e4, black decided to play bishop e6. It's very hard to imagine. So everything was fine. Knight takes e6 is fine. Bishop c4 is also fine. I have no idea what is a3 about. Probably he wanted to play b4 somewhere, or something like that. Bishop f1 after it, right? Yeah, and then happened something, oy, oy, oy. And then happened something scary. Yeah, so you need to be careful. Probably bishop e2, just to prevent the stuff. Was a very important move, because after knight g4, troubles on f2 were very big. There was nothing better than rook e2, then queen h4 comes, and then we're losing one pawn, and it's just checkmate. Wow. Yeah, that was like a total blunder, but very hard to say. So in move number 17, a3, was, let's say, a slow move. And after knight e5, with a wish to go to g4, Bishop f1 was totally out of range. Sad, because position after move 16, I would say white has very comfortable position. Very comfortable. With many different opportunities you can develop, and your bishops are, you have two bishops, both bishops are looking at opponent's king. But this is chess. That's how it happens. For example, like on a move 17, there is a possibility even to play e5. And then knight e5, something like knight a4, attacking everything, just fighting for initiative. Isaiah lost just a piece, and let me return also to Ken Jones' game. Somewhere on the move 23, c takes b4, rook takes b4, a5. That was the most important moment, where you cannot be greedy. Just cannot be greedy. There was a moment where I was thinking bishop c4 is absolutely necessary, just cannot avoid it. Let me turn on. Am I right or not? So rook takes b4, and here white has serious advantage even. And after a5, yeah. That's the thing. All this endgame without queen was still much easier to play for white. Just push pawns forward and don't think about anything. This will be way much easier to play. And Isaiah is playing with their number 1. The FIDE master.
That's Ryan Porter, 2308.
Yeah, pretty high rating. Ryan Porter, all right. Yeah, there is one more game, just not yet started. We have a French in Nathaniel fast game. French with knight d2. He's playing with their number 2. And he's playing exactly how I play against knight d2. And I spent many nights crying here. Many games. I had a very nice game last time versus my teammate Tom Polgar Schutzman. But this is not the best way. I need to say that Nathaniel is already playing better. I'm very much oriented in playing f6 or f5 in this line. But here, Nathaniel is coming for bishop exchange. Let's take a look. How's it going? While in a game of Isaiah's game, we have already something similar. And if we'll consider this to be in a Catalan, I say this is not a very good Catalan at all for black. Bishop g5 is a very powerful weapon here. So powerful that I would say that probably the only one move you have is rook e8. By the way, rook d4 looks interesting. See, Isaiah plays rook e8 immediately, as I said, but I really like rook d4. It is so unusual, but maybe it was holding all the problems in dynamics.
think every game except Ken's has started so far. So.
I don't see Julian's games yet. Yeah, I do see. So he's playing with Daniel Shubin, and we also have French here. Oh, sorry, it's Karakan. No, it's French. I'm receiving something similar from Karakan. Ah, no, yeah, so it's French with e5. Also very interesting to me. I'm playing this line for both colors, for white and black, in Julian game. I'm trying to avoid playing queen b6 for some reasons. This will be interesting as well. What kind of development is considered here to be the best? Because when you're playing this in Karakan, you usually have time for bishop e3, and here you don't. Castle and b4, yeah. It's a very, very classical line for white. Quite interesting. Time to castle. I'm not sure that queen e2 is an option. Actually, maybe there is, because if you castle, there's knight g4 looks very, very uncomfortable. Oh, sacrifice. That's quite a sacrifice, I need to say. Aiming to catch this bishop afterwards. Aiming that for the fact that this bishop is not going to return, but then you are forced to play king e2 after check. So bishop takes f2 check, king e2, and then you're aiming to catch this bishop on the way back. That's sharp. And this is probably a very, very big time to think for Daniel Shubin. Because that's a decision you can regret. Like if you're not in the mood, I would play bishop e7 like in 5 seconds and not thinking about this. Yeah. There it is. King e2. And now we have question. Very, very interesting question. What are you going to do to avoid rook f1? I say that knight g4, knight e3 is a big threat. I say that this is a very big threat. And now there's a big trouble again. What are you going to do with all of this? Like on rook f1, knight e3 is a fork. And it's like, what has when you have forgotten to take on h6. That was, by the way, an opportunity, and very interesting one. Maybe if you wanted to catch it, but you didn't have time. You didn't really have time for this. Nah. That's a nice one. And queen will go to b3, I suppose. But this is opening also for bishop escape square on g3. So you are not aiming to catch this bishop anymore. Oh, I even didn't see this. 2 pawns and bishop returns back. Now rook f1, bishop g3. Or even knight takes d3 and then bishop g3. Does Julian have any real opportunity to begin his attack for these 2 pawns? Looks a little desperate to me. All right, let's leave him here and let's look at other positions. Nathaniel's strategy came to nowhere, I would say. because current position looks very, very uncomfortable, and when you're playing rook g8 to protect pawn on g6, that means something was not good on the way. Plus knight on e5 is just it's a beast. It's not a simple knight, it's a beast. Can he still castle? That's a big question to me. I think so. Oh, he played very early f5. Very early f5. Yeah, as a person who is playing these lines all the time, I need to say I would be preparing f5 for a very long time. I would castle, put my king somewhere deep, deep, deep to the a7, and only after this I would play f5, and never play any earlier than that. Yeah, and queen on a6 is not doing much. I say Nathaniel has quite a complicated position. Right, we need to have some good position somewhere. Or something better. I'm moving to Isaiah, and it looks better than I was expecting. Oh yeah, that's lucky. I would say that was lucky a little bit, because knight b5 from white is somewhere like in the wrong direction. You have such a big opening advantage, and you are playing knight b5 just to what? To attack this pawn one time? No way. Rook e7, bishop e6, and now everything is protected. Even that still looks not very comfortable. Knight is very strong on d6. And now there's opportunity to play something like knight e8 and ask this knight a very big question. Is he as powerful as we think of it? And the funniest thing, like, let's say we're playing knight e8, white is playing c5, and then our knight returns back to d5. I say, no more. We're not thinking of this anymore. We're just returning, trying to have our own strong knight in the center. And we don't mind about other troubles. I have some hopes in Isaiah's position now. Oh, the only one thing which I have missed, bishop e3 is with idea to play bishop c5. On the other side, it's not a big deal, because rook can be on c7. Yeah. It's not equal yet. At least it is going to the equality. Well, this is also an opportunity, very nice, to fight for this d file right now from beginning, when white is not ready. Knight has no good jumps away. The only one, yeah, that's it. Very, very nice plan. So right now, maybe white will be forced to play c5 somewhere, and everything will be fixed by this. And then we still have knight e8. Oh, that's a good one. Second rook on d8, knight on e8. And surprisingly, nothing really good happens to white in this. But even maybe if I play white, I would say no more and just play knight e4 and forget about this. And play this line as it is totally equal. Let's say knight e4, knight takes e4, rook takes d7, bishop takes d7, bishop takes e4. That looks like it. Right, Isaiah's position looks better than it was before. Let me see Nathaniel fast position, and it is more and more doubtful. The only one good thing in this position that white's king is also not the best king in the world. Surely you have to take this pawn, and then after rook c6 probably and queen b7 there'll be 2-3 lines for a good counterattack, by the way. It's not so bad. Yeah. Rook c6 now. Just keep this rook. Maybe rook c6 will be like with bishop d4. Rook d7 is a little bit too passive from my perspective. Needs to calculate. It's hard to choose right now. But queen b7 looks very nice after it. The only one trouble, I bet bishop will go on d4 and try to stop all of this. It is hard. Minus pawn, open quick king, and some initiative on white side. All right.
And Ken's game started also.
All right, Ken's game started also. And here we also see a very strong knight, right in the middle of the board. Black brought another beast. We really don't want to touch. Oy. Another complicated position for us. Last move was bishop f4, trying to exchange some pieces to have more space. After bishop takes f4, probably takes with rook, which means our knight is staying on h3, no? Oy. What could be a good plan for us here? Our good plan is to ignore the knight. In a chess, everybody knows about, what is that? Tarrasch knight. So the knight in the center, well protected, cannot be exchanged, and other things. But there also was a game, I think that was game Larsen-Donner. Jan Donner. And Donner in that game got also knight right in the middle, somewhere like on e4. I think it was also on e4. And it was very well protected. And Larsen, for the rest of the game, was playing around this knight, and knight did nothing absolutely at all till the end of the game. It was just a beautiful knight in the middle of the board, doing zero activities till the end of the game. Larsen won, and this was a time when they even called it like a Donner's knight, like super beautiful knight which does nothing. So this is our chance here that Ken will start to play around this knight. For example, after bishop f4, rook f4, and we are playing something like g4, g5, second rook on g1, and just, you have a beautiful knight, just keep it there, we don't care. Never take it, of course. Never just make any reaction on this knight. Oh! Ooh. Aha, knight takes g3 is coming. But this is a serious mistake. No, it's not. Bishop takes f3 is also dangerous. I'm sorry, bishop takes e4. Bishop takes e4, and then, yeah, you can lose here. Looks like Saber Clay was thinking. That's a very critical moment. So we have two opportunities. One to take on e6, on d6, sorry, bishop takes d6, and we're losing queen there because of knight takes g3 for two pieces. Second opportunity is to take on e4, then pawn takes, we take on d6, and then e3 check. E3 check, and here we can kind of play king g1. Oh, wait a second, and we're losing queen again. No way. So we don't have those two opportunities. Oy. It looks like that was a right idea. Ken has something to think about. Ken seriously has something to think about. Well, speaking of which, I would not be very much unhappy to sacrifice this pawn on f5. Not a big deal. Just lost a pawn, not a big deal. question is what kind of move you need to make right now, like queen a4, rook c1, something just to keep queen protected. Because queen doesn't have any other really nice opportunities to go to. Like rook ac1 is a very straightforward and very like stupid move, but you don't want to lose immediately. Queen takes f5. What a lovely move. And I still have feeling there could be some mistake from black. Oh, queen c1. I was thinking of all squares for queen, but this one. Let's take a look. Maybe this one is simply the best out of all. Yeah, and then queen just returns back. That's fine. Lost a pawn, but nothing more than that. And probably knight to f4, right? The question is what is next? Hard to make a nice plan when you don't have a pawn and knight is on e4, untouchable. Looks like Ken has also quite complicated position. Let's return to something better. Oh, something better is Isaiah. Isaiah has two bishops versus rook and a whole queen side of pawns. 3 pawns there. 3 pawns well blocked by one bishop, or not very well blocked, because at least c5 can move forward. Oh, yo, yo. 3 pawns again. 3 pawns and more. 3 pawns and more. At least they can be blocked very well. Something like rook a2, a4, rook b8, rook b1, bishop b4. And everything is blocked. And looks like Isaiah is going to do this. But if a4 now, well, the only thing I have feeling that white is going to play something like rook d2, rook c2. Ah, rook c2 is not available right now. That's good. That's better. That's way much better. It's definitely in white's favor. Not only because we have so many extra pawns, but even if let's say that white decide to panic and just take bishop on e6, even then white will be fine. And now they don't need to do this. What is good? Must be something good somewhere. Maybe Julian is good. Let me see. Oh no. Ah, Julian just lost in 15 moves. Knight takes b4. It's a final coup de grace. Bishop b4 is coming. No? What can we do? It was a risky opening. Very risky. Isaiah is doing exactly what I said. Rook a8, a4, rook b8, and now if rook b1, probably bishop b4 to block them completely, all 3. With a little problem that white has opportunity to play rook e5, rook b5, and break through this blockade. Oh, there's no blockade. It is very similar to Ken's game where he let this pawn to run away, and now something similar is going to happen. You can take on b3, but then you will catch this pawn only on a7. Rook takes b3, a5, rook back, a6, rook a8, a7. And I'm not sure that our FIDE master is right with what he's doing. Here we're without queens, and bishops are able to catch it. There was a key pawn. Just rook b8, please, Isaiah. Just rook b8 without any special imagination. There's nothing to keep. What a hard position, huh? Now, Ken gave up his bishop. Now he's not only without pawn, but also under serious attack in all places. Okay, what about Saf Sebastian? Nathaniel Fast. He's aiming for some counterattack. I cannot say that this is counterattack for real, but without 2 pawns, he's aiming for it. Aiming for this weak king. A little bit opened. 2 games where we have some chances. Oh, interesting. Rook b7. It's even better than I was thinking. For Isaiah. I was thinking that Rook b8 is a must, but yeah, Rook b7 stops it earlier. 1 square earlier, it's quite very important. Oh, all right, again, I'm looking back into Isaiah's game. It's very interesting. We have a chance here in this game. A little trick trying to invite us to take on c4, which is obviously will not be happening. Maybe bishop a7 or king a7 is good. But I would rather... No. Yeah. So now we're coming to the end game. Yep. Bishop c8, of course. Bishop c8, and then rook b5, and then king d6. Well, fine. Not so bad. So let's find a best scenario in this game. We are winning pawn on a6, we're winning pawn on c4, and we're just playing endgame 2 bishops versus rook with 1 extra pawn for white, which is dead draw. We still cannot win it. Even if we win everything 1 by 1, the biggest hope for us is time. Ken Jones is trying to save. Somehow pawn on b2 survived. I don't know how did it happen. But I'm not sure that he's super happy about it. Minus 2 pawns and still under attack. Nathaniel is still trying queen c5 with aiming to moves like knight e3 check. Didn't happen, of course. Yeah, it's very hard to do something here again. When you have lost already so many pawns and you can lose more. Now 3 minutes left, and how did it happen that he didn't play bishop c8 before? I don't know. Just cannot find explanation to what is going on here. Yeah, anyway, Isaiah's game is going where I was predicting. So he's going to win all the pawns on queen side. There'll be no more trouble to lose. Oh, there is a trouble. Please, bishop c8, just carefully. Don't let this happen. Then you cannot lose at least. Don't take on c4. And then I see just immediate draw for white. If white won. Oh no! Bishop takes c4. That's maybe it's not so bad. I mean, like rook b7. Wait a second, I'm just wrong. Rook b7, bishop c5, and you don't have a7. That's good. So you're winning this important pawn immediately. There's one little problem. You cannot take it immediately. I mean, you cannot take bishop a6 because you lose on f7. Yes. Carefully, one by one. h5. Start with h5 and then f5. f5 is not a good move. Oh, how to get to this? So he cannot even get 3 versus 4 with 2 bishops and rook. Oy. So it's still black who is fighting for draw, not white. There must be something positive in this line. Something positive should be here. But still, h5 is a must. Maybe there'll be some Zugzwang. That'll be nice, because king does not have moves. Ay. I'm not sure that bishop d6 is doing something good. I'm just inviting white to play g4, which should not be happening at all. Yeah, we have very... Oh, that's very nice. That's a very beautiful decision. There's just bravo, Isaiah. I haven't seen this. Bishop on c7 is blocking it. And now there is a possibility to win everything carefully. Except pawn on h6 will be lost. That's what I was mentioning, that you should play h5 and keep it there. You've had enough time. Or there is an opportunity right now to catch this rook completely, if it's possible, which I seriously doubt. Yeah, he's decided to play safe. And to play safe here means that he will fight for draw again. Just need to play a little bit faster. What is this? And now rook f8. Or at least this. Bishop e6, maybe, at least something. Yeah, bishop e6. Yes, great. So at least nothing happens. He's taking this pawn for free. Great. King b7. Take it. That's, by the way, this is a chance. After this exchange from white, we have a chance because you can win pawn on h5 now, later, way much later, and have a real chance to win this game, because without those pawns it was absolutely impossible even to think about victory. Now there is a real chance. Just need to carefully bring our king under bishop protection. Okay, 15 seconds. That's a thriller. Very nice decision from black. Very nice. King is coming closer to the pawn. Now there is a real chance to win a game. No, not here. Wait. Ah, he's trying to come from behind. From behind didn't work. 13 seconds is good. Didn't work from behind. I say the key for this position is to bring your king on g5 somehow. Or at least on e5 and try to win this pawn. Now this way. Now this way as well. Right. We're coming to draw. Yes. It's very, very hard to win. There's almost nothing, no real perspective. We're just waiting for mistake to happen from white side. No. And white rook can just simply chase this bishop as long as it wants. This bishop should be on e6. Bring it on e6. Take away your bishop, second bishop away. No, not on e8. Bring it to e6. It's absolutely perfect square for it. Aha. New approach, f6. Interesting. And here it is. There's a mistake. That's what we wanted. Bishop takes h5 and we win. Bishop takes h5! Oh my god. To see blitz of this kind is very hard. It is really very hard to watch. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh! This is the way to win the game. Isaiah, bravo.
All right, so we've got our first win.
Yep. So we have lost 3 games and won 1, so altogether it's 1.5 to 4.5.
And Julian's up a pawn.
Up a pawn is good. We've never been up a pawn today yet.
Yeah. It's been a long night, kind of, hasn't it?
Usually we are down something. Right. Are we on air? All right. Beautiful. So for those who haven't seen our first half, need to say that in the very last game, we've got a hope. Isaiah finally won after his opponent blundering a rook in probably dead-end drawish endgame. And now we have a chance to strike back, but need to do it now. We cannot wait for the last round because the difference is quite big. Looking at all games one by one, and last game here. So this is a time when we are starting to look. Julian here, everybody's here. All right, which position looks most interesting? Which position looks most interesting? I would say Julian is not up a pawn. He is going to be down something. And the question, down what? Because, yeah, right now, if queen takes e5, looking at Julian's game, if queen takes e5, bishop d6, we are winning back on g3, and it looks great. But what if white will take on e6 first? Then it will not work, because if we take back on e6, queen takes bishop d6, and queen takes e6 check, and game is over. We lost a piece, and game is over. It's totally not what we're looking for. So, huge question again. What are we going to do after fe? F takes e6. Bishop takes h4 maybe. Then bishop f4. This is just absolutely horrible. So in the end, okay, it's not absolutely horrible. So let's say knight goes somewhere. Oh, the only one problem where? On f6 maybe. So say f takes e6, knight g6, ef check, rook takes f7, everything is protected. So. And there's another opportunity. What are you going to do if bishop f4 now? That's it. White is playing bishop f4. And what is next? f6, losing 2 pawns. Yeah, next move is extremely important in this game, because white is probably choosing between a few very good opportunities. Maybe there's even bishop c3 as an opportunity. Ah, wait, bishop f4, knight d3 check. So this is not a problem. This is not a problem at all. That's nice. So first good thing, bishop f4 doesn't work. Now a new question. If bishop c3, our knight does not have any useful way to go out. Because like knight d7, this is way to lose the game almost immediately. Even that bishop knight on g3 is under attack, but still unpleasant. I'm most scared of bishop c3 now. Even more scared than of e takes f6. Oh, f takes e6, sorry. Let's wait till one more move from white, but who knows? He has 8 minutes. He may spend now 5 of them to make sure that he's making the right choice. I'll be looking at this. We can return there. Let's look at something else. What do we have here? So one by one, looking at Ken Jones, sorry. Jonesy Wales, Ken Jones. He's trying to do what I've been trying to do all my life, to play bishop h3 to exchange a bishop. Oh, there was a move. Give me a second. No, it was not. No, not yet. So, bishop will be exchanged. They will be exchanged no matter what. Probably after queen e6. Black will do everything what they wanted to do. Get rid of this bishop. But the only good thing about this is that we are hardly equalizing after it. Another game is game of Israel. Oh, sorry, Isaiah Gadson versus Saber Clay. Here we have 2 bishops. We're going to lose a pawn. That probably is sacrifice of some kind. Actually, no, 7 and 7, so it's equal. Equal. And complicated. The Thunder 04 is still thinking. That's beautiful. It's really a moment of truth. Because if right now he's not making the right decision, yeah, bishop c3, as I said. Bishop c3 is the most uncomfortable, maybe, decision here, because Black's knight just doesn't have any opportunity to go away. Like, even a move like knight c4, aiming to exchange things, it's not only losing 1 pawn, it's losing more than that. Oh, yeah. Is there anything better? Or something like knight g6. Maybe this is an opportunity. Maybe that's enough. Then queen g4. Queen g4 we can take. Oh no, we cannot take. It's checkmate. Oi, oi. Checkmate in 1. That's very hard to ignore. What is always hard to ignore is checkmate in 1. Knight d7 is not an option. It's a suicidal option. Totally suicidal. So maybe knight c4 is the only one. It looks so ugly. No, knight c4 is queen g4. That's it. You cannot do this. Ooh. You know, I don't have anything better than f6 to suggest. All other opportunities are just losing immediately. f6 is best, seriously bad, but all the rest is way much worse. All right, let's return to this. I have a feeling Julian has another 5 minutes to think here. Oh, something good. Something good is Nathaniel fast. That looks nice. When I see somebody playing queen d3 and aiming on h7, that looks like a plan to me. Oh, wait a second. So it is even possible to do this. Not exactly. So we cannot take. Clear plan. We've got a clear plan for Nathaniel fast here. He has 7 minutes extra. And this looks promising. Plan is simple. Take, check on h7. It's not winning a game, just scary.
Does he also get the G pawn? Or after the king?
No, there's no checkmate at all, because even after all of this, king can just escape on e7. And it cannot take even on g7, so probably you don't need to give checks on h8. I don't know, right now it looks like black has tons of opportunity, even like knight f4, and then all our main plan is not working anymore at all. Because knight f4 is, and we need to do something with the queen. It's absolutely not clear what exactly we're going to do with the queen. What you see, Dani Shubin is panicking. This is a move of the panic, because knight takes g6 is coming without thinking. There's no thinking, just take there. Take on g6, don't think. Bravo, bravo. Nathaniel, that's a brave heart. There's nothing to calculate. Let him to calculate with his 1 minute and a half. That looks like a victory. What? Knight f4. I would play knight f4. But even then it looks very ugly. Looks extremely ugly. Oh, knight f4 is really ugly. Knight takes e7 check. Yes, knight takes e7 check, queen g3 check. And then something happens. You will find something better after that. Oh, yeah. It's just winning. It's totally winning. Knight takes e7 check. Just don't take this knight on f4. You don't need it. Don't try to come for checkmate immediately. Knight takes e7 check, queen g3 check, bishop takes f6, and you are finishing it. So this is our first. Yes, bravo, bravo. Nathaniel just did everything perfectly. And now just check on g3. Clearly, just check on. That's nice. That's beautiful. Knight g6, losing second pawns, losing knight. Yes, and bishop takes g6, and that's it. It's totally demolished. It's just destroyed from beginning to the end. 1-0. Bravo.
All right.
Nathaniel made it. All right. Ken Jones has very long game. That's supposed to be equal now. Isaiah has something very interesting, but I'm much more worried for Julian. Yeah, he played f6, as I said. That was probably the only one solution. f6, f takes e6, rook a d8. So he's trying just to play as nothing has happened. But something really has happened. You cannot say that nothing has happened and you've just lost pawn back. This is a super strong pawn. That's one problem. A second problem that you have many more problems beside this. This is not the only one. Not at all. You'll be happy to lose only one pawn after everything. So he is trying at least to exchange as much as possible because he doesn't have any space. And the smaller number of pieces around behind the opponents, the easier it is to play. And the only one good thing in this is that Thunder 04 has only 4 minutes. Okay, 4.5. Can he find something decisive right now? If not, then it's still very hard. For example, if rook takes d8, bishop takes d8, right? And then bishop takes e5, and you are not able to play queen takes e5, because queen takes e5 and e7, and game is over. So you will have to take with a pawn, and then you have to place your, and then queen g4 comes. Queen g4 comes, and then e7 comes. Oy, this is really bad. So bishop takes, pawn takes, queen g4, and you have to play something like king f8, because everything else is losing immediately again. Like you're trying to find something which is not losing immediately, and almost everything is losing. Maybe he will not even play immediately bishop takes e5. He has some better opportunities. I don't know which other. This like straightforward line which you have to calculate. You have to think of. So bishop, if you can show everybody, after bishop takes e5, you cannot take with queen. Because queen takes e5, fe, and e7, and you're losing piece on this. You're losing your last bishop. So bishop takes e5, fe, and queen g4. Aiming for knight takes h6. And if you play something like king h7, then e7 and game is over. Because this is... Yeah, that's what he's aiming for. That's what he's aiming for. You have to take with a pawn. Julian has to take with a pawn. And after queen takes queen g4, I have no idea what he's going to do. Because bishop f6 is just losing pawn on h6. It's even... I don't know. See, he played queen h5. Maybe it's even better. Aiming for e8. I don't know what to say. It looks very ugly. King f8 is the only one. Yeah. Here he had no choice. Oh, now what? Bishop f6, and we can somehow save it if we can. And the scariest thing is g4, g5. This is really scary. Oh, wait. On g4, we have a super chance. g4, e4. e4 and aiming for immediate. Now it's e7 is coming. e7 is coming heavily. Oh. e7 is coming heavily. Queen e5. Wait a second, it's not so bad anymore. Queen e5, queen f7, checkmate. You cannot do this at all. So bishop f6 maybe. There's only one. No. It's a feeling when almost every move can be lost. Queen cannot move. Bishop cannot move. Pawns, nobody knows what they're doing. It was a very important move from white. I mean, g3. It prevented queen f4 check and all counterattacks and possibilities for. The only one really good chance here is our time. Because 2 minutes for such a complicated position, he can miss something. He can play something stupid like g4, and everything will be turning around. This is really strong. This is like seriously strong. What's queen h7, and it looks like you cannot avoid checkmate. And I had similar very bad day versus Minnesota. Looks like today is not Julian's day at all. Because this was a very powerful play from Thunder. It really looks like a Thunder. Queen h7 is painful. Okay, I don't see any way to save this game even in 1-2 moves. Just, oh, by the way, I said that I don't see anything, and there it is. No, this didn't help because this is just checkmate. Okay, 1-1 in this round. How is Isaiah doing? Isaiah has extra pawn. That's something good. I would say this position is technical. It's technical. It will not be easy, but Isaiah needs to win here. In the last game, we have isolated pawn again from Ken Jones. At least number of pawns is equal. So Isaiah is going to win it sooner or later. Even 4 versus 3 doesn't look ugly here. If somehow they will exchange everything what they can and White is not going to get any advantage on this, even then it's fine. Because this pawn is already on g5 and it gives serious chance to win this endgame. The only thing which you really need to be careful about is your 7th rank, second rank. This is good because bishop d5 now. Bishop d5, and you probably is forcing, and bishop is moving on b3, where it will be perfectly attached to the weakest f7 pawn. Now bishop b3 to keep on c2, yes. And still need to be very careful not to let rook to come on c1 and to do anything like confusing. Needs to have some preparation, not too much. Something like queen b7, g3, king g2, and then rook can go to d7 where it belongs to. And then black rook will be on f8, and then game will be over. It will be one way. Then black will be totally passive and will be nothing happening. Just need to have a little patience. Not to let all this happen immediately. But queen b7 now. Like, start with this move. Carefully ask rook what does it think about this world. Queen b7, g3, second rook on d7, and that will be over very soon. 5 minutes. I believe in Isaiah's position here, so let's look at the most unclear game in this round. Ken is playing with their FIDE master, and once again Ken has isolated pawn, and which is not clear, is it weakness or a strong pawn. It is always easier to play against it. Always easier. This is an invitation to play bishop c3, and I don't like this invitation. Bishop c3 and then rook knight e4. We need to do something with our bishop. White also has a serious weakness on the 3. So sometimes knight g4 can help. It's fine. It's fine. I don't say that we have something more than equality, but who knows? Ken has only 2 minutes and 18 seconds. It's not enough. Absolutely, bravo. Isaiah did everything I said. He played except for one move. He didn't play queen b7. All the rest. Oh, now queen b7. I would do absolutely the same set of moves, just in different order. Now everything is prepared. Just need to find the way to come on g5. But this another weakness from nowhere. Pawn on g5. Maybe something like queen e4. and then some preparation. Beautiful. And then rook d5, rook f5, and here we are. Yeah, rook is better even not on d7. Rook is better on f5. That will be absolutely marvelous place. So, okay, Isaiah will do this. No doubts. Let's return here. So knight played on e4, knight played on d4. One pair of rooks is gone. Queen is going back. So weakness versus weakness. Again. And now there's a time to come with bishop on g7. By the way, bishop on c3 is kind of in doubtful position, so needs to do something with this if you don't want to lose pawn there as well. You know, I like Ken's position more and more, except for his lack of time. He spent only like 15 seconds for last few moves. That's nice. Yeah, and now bishop g7. Even more, knight c5 right now. You can win a very important pawn for absolutely no disadvantage. Yes, knight c5 now. Queen takes e3. That's good. That's good. It's always better to have isolated pawn when this pawn is extra pawn. So it looks like we're going to win this round 3-1. Queen e3 check, and we're going forward. Going back to Isaiah, and after some moves in g4 from black, we still have a question how to win. How to win winning position. That's the hardest thing. Like 15 years ago, I was extremely good in this. I was winning almost every game where I was getting advantage. And in the last few years, something has happened, and I had a few games, at least 4 or 5 games 2 years ago before COVID, where I had very big advantage and I didn't find how to win it. And I came home, I looked with computer, and it's like, oh, this is the way. I understand now. And that was very, very, very painful to feel that just cannot do this anymore. I would say even queen e4 is winning now for white. Queen e4 with queen exchanges. Because after this, you will come after g4 pawn, and it's impossible to survive without 2. Will Isaiah play queen e4 or not? And while there, I can see that Ken is going to play rook d3 now and win knight and a game together with this knight. Knight d3, and this knight is absolutely lost. Dead lost. Yeah, rook g3 and just game is over. Didn't happen. And very sad that it didn't happen. That was an easy way to win. Now it's not so clear.
On which game?
On Ken's game. Ken just missed opportunity to win a knight. If I'm not missing anything. And now this is way much more complicated. It's very nice to have extra pawn, but this is not a sort of pawn which is easy to play with. And now, and now knight g5 and knight e5. And tons of troubles are coming from nowhere. This is the way to lose instead of win. Queen b6 was winning 1 move ago. Then knight e5 will be queen e6 and just endgame is lost. And now it looks like it is lost for black. Oh, chess is a complicated game. Very nervous. Yeah, that's probably the only one that you can do in 20 seconds. Check. There's no more advantage. There is some hope for draw for black. Oh, what can we do? Did Isaiah win? Isaiah won. Great. Beautiful. Let's return back to our last game and see, can we do something or not? And Ken doesn't have time at all. Just no time whatsoever. I'll be happy with the draw now. Like 4 moves ago, I would say this is clearly one for black and not with the big troubles. And now I'll be super happy if there will be draw and that's it. That's all I can say. Yep. And now even Queen A6 is winning. How to come from position with extra pawn to position without a pawn. And you'll be happy if it's only one pawn. And this is losing immediately. Because now Queen A6 and you cannot take it. Because then you're coming to lost pawn endgame. And you don't have anything. You don't have anything? Yeah, that's the only one probably. Oh, that's not bad. Thank you very much, FIDE Master. FIDE Master is bringing our position to something way much better than it could be. Because bishop can play for 2 different sides, for queen side and king side, and knight is not that fast. And this has given us serious opportunity. Check and king runs to a2. We can win. No, just check first, please. All right, 7 seconds. You cannot blame anybody for doing or not doing something. Oh, that pawn was so important to play h5. H5 check in between. Zwischenzug, what is called. Yep. b4. And then probably I don't know what to do. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. No. Yeah, that's very painful. Looks like white is winning now. White is winning because bishop cannot hold 3 pawns. Bishop cannot hold 3 pawns alone. But there are drawish positions. The only one thing, king is on g6. It's just absolutely perfect place to be. And it's already there. It's already there. If king will be somewhere on f3, it will be possible for saving it. Possible to draw. This one is not. 2-2 in this round. And we have lost a match.
Yeah, so the score is 8.5 to 3.5.
Yeah, 8.5 is win of the match, so the only one thing we can do is just to improve score a little bit. We had 2 good games. I think Isaiah here won very nice game, and Nathaniel just smashed his opponent completely. So if we have 3-4 more rounds, we could seriously strike back. With a little trouble, we don't have those 3-4 rounds. I
only see Nathaniel's game.
All right, Nathaniel's game.
Here's Isaiah. He's back up.
All of them. Let's find out. Do we have? Yes, Nathaniel has started. And he already has played many moves. 14 moves in this game have been played, and that's a pawn sacrifice of some kind. Well, it's another moment. It's another moment of a very important. Yeah, and now bishop b5. Yeah, now bishop b5. Bishop b5, and if a3, then bishop d3. No castle for white. And that looks very, very nice for a pawn. That looks very, very, very nice for a pawn. So Nathaniel had a very nice opening. Isaiah is playing with Danny Shubin, and this is another Sicilian, another accelerated dragon, or whatever it is called. Cannot say anything here. It's not started yet. As always, question is where exactly white is going to castle. Kingside or queenside. And without playing d6, e6, or a6, it can be still any possible configuration. Wait a little for it. Julian hasn't started yet.
I bet Ken is taking a break since that game went right to the end. So.
Okay, Ken has taken break. Julian is also not playing. We'll have 2 games to finish. Isaiah is thinking to castle or not to castle. That is the question. What kind of flaws are in a castle? But anyway, when I wanted to say something about flaws, he just castled. So now a question, are we placing d6, a6, b5, bishop, b7? Or we are placing d6 and bishop somewhere in opposite direction, somewhere in g4, but not on g4. Or we are going to play this, thinking of this line as Sveshnikov variation, playing with e5. I have no idea what to do. I'm sorry, absolutely not Sicilian specialist with black. Always played against it with white, but never could understand how to play this for black. Danny Shubin spent 1 second on 8 moves. Had nothing to think at all. Yeah, a6, so thinking more of neither configuration, and probably d6 and think. Yeah, what biggest decision for white was to make a kingside castle. Second opportunity was to play something like king d2, queenside castle, and then who is faster. And now white has standard opportunities with g4, f4, and everybody's forward. Or even h4, no, not right here, not right now, but yeah. Queen c7.
Well, Ohio and Michigan are both losing, so it looks like we'll hold our spot in the standings.
It's beautiful. And we have one more round, right? And we're playing with Oklahoma.
Right, yeah. Well, we have...
I think we're going to keep our second place. There are 2 games, two teams are coming to playoffs, right?
Right, yeah. So we have to play Oklahoma next week, which their team collapsed, so we'll get that. And then week 7 is another interleague game.
There'll be one more.
Yeah.
After Oklahoma, no? So then it's important that Ohio and Michigan are losing. I thought it's not important, but it looks like it is. It is important. Yeah, Michigan is totally collapsing. They collapsed versus us. I don't know what has happened to them there. Illinois has a little advantage versus Hawaii. So, not even a little. 2 points before the last round, which means that they're probably aiming for a win. Minnesota is going to win. Illinois is not in a business, right? I have forgotten. It's Minnesota in a business, and they also have +2, and they have 5 games to play total.
And we have good news for next year. We have Iris Zhao joining the team. So.
Yeah, Iris Zhao is a very, very good addition to our team. to have I don't know what is her current rating. I think that she's still going to play on board 4 in this format. And to have board 4 which is able to make 2 out of 4 or even more is like the way to win every match. It's like what Asish is bringing much more than me, for example, in my opinion, to this team.
Well, now that Over the Board's starting back up, his rating is climbing, so I don't know if he'll be able to play board 4 next year. So I'm glad that he joined us.
Those young talents, what can you expect from them? They're just growing in their opportunities. When they're underrated, it's very useful.
Right, yeah.
It's very, very useful. And of course, when Asish is making 2.5 out of 4 on a board 4, that makes much easier the life for board 1.
Right.
Because when you're board 1 and you're thinking that 3 out of 4 is minimum, and you have to take more than 3 better to help your team for real. But then you look at the board 4 and you see that board 4 is making at least 2, and you're like, fine, it's fine. 3 out of 4 is totally fine, and I don't need to think about this. No need to aim for 4 out of 4 or try very hard.
Everybody in the Springfield Club calls him our secret weapon.
Yeah. All right, Ken is in the game. Let's take a look. He has just started opening, and this is also something very similar how I play versus Sicilian with white. I think, was it bishop b5 immediately? No. It's it's extremely similar to how I'm playing against it. Yeah, and after bishop e3, aiming for queen c1 and bishop a6. Once again, I need to say I had lots of tears in this structure. My favorite move out of all moves is a4. I'm playing this almost every time when I'm playing versus Sicilian. I'm playing a4, and almost always it is wrong. It's a very, very sad confession, but that's what it is. I had lots of tears because of a4 and aiming to bishop h6 and knight g5 and everybody there. What is really nice for white here, what I usually do not get, is knight on c2. That's a very nice knight. But knight on c2 is a very, very powerful guy. So I'd say that Ken is getting much better position than I usually get in these structures. And how is Julian doing? Is he playing?
I don't think he's back yet.
Maybe he's not back. All right. What else do we have? No, I can say that Nathaniel has already almost won. This is just beautiful. This is like a positional domination. It's very hard to ask for anything more with black. This is just one-way game from now on. And I would even say this is like, I would need probably like 10 moves to finish it. Because I have no idea what black is going to do at all. Just what could be planned to escape from this. I don't know what is it in English exactly. You know, like in wrestling when someone's neck is already.
Oh, a headlock?
Yeah, like neck is already fixed. King is on e1 and it is not going away from there. Okay, something like knight e5 right now. Is it an opportunity to save it for white? Knight to e5. This is not the opportunity to save it. 100% it is not. So castle, and if knight e5, then bishop c2, and aim for something way much better than you have. Or even bishop takes e4. No reaction on this. Yeah, castle is safe. If bishop b2, then something like bishop c4. That's a nice game. Here Nathaniel has a serious advantage. While Isaiah in this time is trying to exchange a bishop. with a standard operation of knight a5, which I, as white Sicilian player, also hate very much to see. But black made all their best moves. Queen c7, d6, knight a5. So white treated this as sort of Sozin attack. Usually people don't know who Sozin is. He was pretty much ordinary master, but somehow main weapon of Robert James Fisher in Sicilian was Sozin attack with bishop c4 in different lines. And Sozin never had even really big success in Soviet national championships. I'm not sure he ever was in top 10 even.
What years did he play?
Before the war.
Before World
War II. So it was like first 6, 7 championships, out of which he played, I think, 3 or 4 maximum.
It's like Botvinnik's generation, sort of, about that time.
Which time?
About Botvinnik's generation, maybe? The one before.
Yeah, Botvinnik was very, very young at that time. It was, but the first Soviet championships were even, first championship was won by Alechin, and second and third were won by, second was won by Romanovsky, and third was won by Bogolyubov. So Alechin and Bogolyubov, before they emigrated, they even played a few times in Soviet championships. And then Botvinnik came in 1929 for the first time in my home city in Odessa, where he didn't come to finals, but he was very young. In 1929, he was still 18.
When I was talking to Lev Albert, he said that he wrote an article about it, but he thought that if Botvinnik could come here in a time machine in his prime and had time to prepare with the new lines and computers and everything, he thinks he would beat Carlsen.
Very hard to say. Botvinnik, of course, was a very, very well-organized person, and that was his probably biggest power and biggest advantage versus anybody, maybe except for Ave, who was also a super profi of that time in terms of preparation. But would he be so successful with working together with computer? It's a big question. It's a very big question. Yeah, of course, his opening advantage in his time period over everybody was enormous, absolutely enormous. I don't remember anybody who had serious. Only when Geller finally came to power and Botvinnik was already not in his prime, definitely, then I can say that like opening preparation of Geller was better. But but that was already when Botvinnik was not playing with people anymore. He was playing only World Cup matches and not playing anything else. He was quite busy playing with Smyslov and then Tal. First Bronstein, then Smyslov, then Tal and Petrosyan. It's like he was quite busy there. Plus he had PhD and he was doing serious science. Okay, some people say that it was not very serious science, but anyway, he had PhD in electric engineering, electrotechnical, and he was kind of working for real, not like many other chess players right now.
Right, yeah.
So we can say that he was actually a true amateur comparing to us, comparing to modern professionals, like real amateur, with another profession, another full-time job.
I wonder about Fischer. It was one of the players that Fischer played, and he won 6-0, but he was also a concert piano player. I always wonder how they can be so good at two things. But
you mean Taimanov?
Taimanov, yeah.
You know, I had a big conversation somewhere in Facebook with my chess friends all over, and we were discussing which chess player, famous chess player, is most successful, at least of grandmaster level, is most successful out of chess. And I can tell you that Taimanov is definitely, from my perspective, is no doubts number one. For example, some people may say it's Ken Rogov, who is working in a very high level in United Nations now, and is a serious scientist, and everything is there, and he has many prizes in economics. But I'm sorry, Sony company, they had a series of discs, 100 best pianists of 20th century. Yeah, so this is series 100 discs. In this 100, out of this 100 discs, there are only 3 piano duos. So for those who are playing two people playing on pianos together. But out of these 3 duos, one is Taimanov and his wife Brooke. So Taimanov Brooke is top 3 piano duos in 20th century. That kind of sounds like a very serious level.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I've seen documentaries about how much work they have to do to be a concert pianist, and then he was also a candidate in chess.
Yeah, if we'll talk about like a general PhDs, general doctors, scientists, and so on, there are many of them, much more than grandmasters even, altogether. So if we think of Botvinnik or Vidmar or any other people who are doing some serious science, and Vidmar, for example, if you don't know, as I know, in his home city in Ljubljana, capital of Slovenia, University of Ljubljana is called after him.
Oh, okay.
This is also a super level, like your university named after you.
Right.
This is like University of Ljubljana named after Milan Vidmar. So Vidmar was even probably more serious technical engineer than Botvinnik, but even then, I bet there are very many scientists of this level. But if we're talking like a pianist top 3 in 20th century, that's a little bit higher.
Yeah, that's incredible that he was able to do that.
Yeah. That's what he was saying, that he has 2 loves in his life, the piano music and chess. And chess is harder because when you play piano, you don't need to think what your opponent wants to do.
Right.
That's what he was saying. All right, let's return to our games because many interesting things are happening.
It looks like Julian drew his game.
Yeah, let's look at our Nathaniel. Is he going to get any better? Julian made a very short draw. I think. Yeah, Julian with their FIDE master made a short draw, so this is a result. And we have 3 games on. Nathaniel is still not let into castle, but he somehow exchanged queens. Why did he do this? He didn't get his pawn back. But there is one still good thing about this. White still cannot castle. And not just cannot castle at all. But without queens, maybe he even doesn't need to castle anymore. All right, this is good. Still, Nathaniel has a very serious advantage. He can aim for a3 pawn and then come with all the pieces together. Well, white king is still between 2 rooks, disconnecting them from each other, not letting them to go from one flank side to another. That's a very good sign. The only one bad sign here is 2 minutes, even less than 2 minutes, which Nathaniel has. He was probably trying to win faster somewhere and just didn't find anything. Well, current plan to go after a3 looks very powerful still. Isaiah, after some preparations, forced his opponent to spend tons of time. And still nothing really happens. So bishop can be exchanged, and probably this is a very right time to exchange this bishop. Otherwise, white will play knight d5, and then you still can exchange it, but it will be not so easy anymore. Yeah, Nathaniel's opponent is making series of marvelous moves. Knight g3, knight e2, knight g3, knight e2. And I'm not sure that any one of these moves is just really helpful. For example, right now he's trying to aim for, if black is playing rook b3, he's going to play knight c1. So Nathaniel could even take on e4 for free. But then it will be d4, so he's right not to do this. Yeah, and this is very nice because right now he's aiming for rook b8 and rook b1. And this will be just dead end. It will be just final. This is a very big thing. That's beautiful, what Nathaniel is doing. Second rook on b8 and just go to b1 and that's it. If white is playing knight c1 now, then fine. Then you can take on e4, take on g2, take something else. That's very... The only one problem is 1 minute, which Nathaniel has, but in general this game is already almost finished. Ken has turned this position into such a complicated, closed one. It's very hard to say something. I was praising knight on c2. Now this knight appeared on being in the corner. It'll be time to return. It looks like everything is fine, but these sorts of games very often just ending into total lock in the middle of the board and just dead draw because you just have no pieces to play with. What, knight is trying to return? Let's find out. While Isaiah decided to fight versus knight d5 with the simple move e6, which is probably a pretty good solution. The only one problem that when you play e6, you're inviting to play f5. And all Sicilian lines when white is playing f4, this is a dream for white to see something what justifies playing with f4. So g6 is here, e6 is here, my time to play f5. Oh, so a few moves happened one by one. Nathaniel, his game is more and more interesting, and he is harvesting. After everything he spent before, now he's getting back everything he invested. The only one question, how exactly is he going to win after all? Oi, oi, oi. There's something... A very dangerous pawn, a4, and this is extra pawn, which is my favorite pawn out of all. There's no better pawn than extra pawn. Of course it is passer, of course. Passer, lonely. 28 seconds for Nathaniel. Let's stay with this game. It can be over very soon. In other games, people can play for another 4 or 5 minutes easily. At least we need to win this last round. That will be nice. It will be nice. It will be fair. We didn't play so badly as our results. look like? Alright, a few obvious moves from Nathaniel and his opponent. So finally this pawn is well protected. And now there's a time for king to march somewhere up to, yes, up to c5. Even to c4 if you can. Marching king. Oh, this one Alright. I would say that I'm not totally satisfied with the idea of exchanging e5 pawn. But let it be. How far king can go? That's a question. How far king can go? Best thing will be to exchange rooks. That will finish it. As I said with Isaiah, white finally found a way to play f5. F5, and now we have a few weaknesses. What is good about it, that none of them are reachable right now. After knight e5, like f7 is protected, e6 is protected, and we can play h6 and ask this knight to go back home. And I would play it. Yeah. At the same time, Nathaniel is... Let's stay with Nathaniel. He has 15 seconds. This will be a very fast way to play. His opponent is trying to prevent e4. And I would still play e4 if I would be in his shoes. And now it is time for e4. It's a super time for e4, which he missed. Hey! No. Repeat it again. And nobody is letting you to play e4 anymore. That's a problem. And this was a one-time chance. Second chance is not coming so easily. Rook e1 for white to ask you to go back. Why not? Oh, after all. After all, we've got second passer. Rook b4, 11 seconds. Just stay careful. Yeah. Time to make mistakes. Yeah, rook b3 is a dangerous move because now knight... Oh, yeah, you have to do this. Again. And this is the way to... And this is the way to lose. Knight d4. Oi, oi, oi. Yeah, what happens when you have only 10 seconds? Take with a pawn, of course. Of course, with a pawn. Oh, bishop c6. Now it will be hard to it's a very hard endgame, but this is not a good endgame. That must be pawn on b3 now. But still, with 14 seconds left and like 40 seconds for his opponent, absolutely everything may happen. For example, it's very easy to make mistake now and just lose. Oh, this is mistake. This is a horrible mistake, but white is making mistake back. Or not. a3 now. a3. Yes. This pawn on a2 is giving some little hope. Very little hope. Take on h3. Yes. Somewhere not there. Not there. On f7, not there. king closer. Yes, king on g2. Looks like Nathaniel is going to save it. I think Nathaniel can save this now. It will be very hard, but he can. If he can find bishop b. Oh, no, this is losing bishop. No, what can you do? That was a nice game, but you cannot play in 10 seconds half of the game. While Isaiah is also in trouble. Isaiah is also in trouble. 30 seconds for each one of them. And a serious passer for white. Serious passer, well protected. Very hard to find something good in black's position. d4 aiming for rook c8. Rook c8 right now. It's a choice. The problem is that we have probably even e6, e7, e8. Yes, e6. And then on e7, no, it's not so bad. Rook takes c2. e7, king comes. And then we're losing bishop because e8 check. Oh, this is better. Well done. King f7. And it's not clear again. Yeah, there's only one problem in this. This is beautiful. This is really chance because right now, after e8 check, white was losing from nowhere. Nah. Another move which does not make us happy, and looks like from something good we came to something very bad. Check. Unexpected. This is wrong. This is very wrong. You had to take rook and go king f7, but yeah, that was probably also lost. Isaiah has lost from a very nice position as well. So we are losing 2.5 in this round, and we are going to lose round 4 as well. Ken, our last game of the day. And also nothing really to be happy about. Nothing really to be happy about. Oh. And there's something powerful coming. Knight takes g2 with 1 minute left. It's like a real thunder play. Thunder 04 is full of thunders today. I would still take it. Because, like, what else do you want to do here? Wait for death? Take a knight and wait for death with extra knight, at least. The idea, if we take on g2, rook takes f2, king takes f2, and queen h2. Oh no! That's more powerful. More powerful than I was thinking. Yeah, bishop f2, but now it's king g1. King g1. What can save white in this position? King g1. You cannot take on h3. This is definitely losing because after that rook f3 check and everything will be with a check. So you have to play king g1. And I have a feeling that Ken will realize it right now because there is no other option, but he's still wasting all this time. Yes, take now and end. And he's going to win a queen. Queen h2, king f3, bishop g2, king e2, bishop e4 check, king d1, bishop takes on b1. And this is over. So he's going to win a full queen for nothing, just for free. And I have serious fears that it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable. So knight takes g2 sacrifice was totally correct. Instead of this, he's aiming for checkmate, and g5. G5 is not a checkmate. G pawn is pinned. Surprise. No checkmate there. King e4, so we're still losing queen. No matter what we're doing, we're still losing queen. Hey. Wait. Queen f5 was checkmate in 1. He missed it. Instead of this, he's decided to win queen and then win rook after queen f5. Yeah, that's too much. It looks like we have lost last round 3.5 to half point. Very good battle from Washington. I need to say that it was a very strong team and they played very well. I don't know. Do we have any opportunity to come to them in the playoff first round? Or any other round, but at least now we definitely know how strong they are.
Yeah.
We know how strong they are, and we need to play our best to catch. Of course, this match was much more important for them than for us, but still, you could see those powerful moves from many strong players, especially this Thunder 04. That was really, really full of thunder. All right, thank you very much for being with us in this match, which was not very pleasant for Missouri. But next time we'll try better.
Thank you for doing the commentary tonight.
Thank you, Adam, for inviting me. Thank you, everybody who is going to watch this video. It looks like we're watching Olympics now and cheering for your guys and trying to get them to make right moves, and then they're making even better moves than we were expecting. It's like, yes, that's very nice and super, and